Hello, welcome back. This is going to be part 4 of my Introduction to HTML series. In this video, we'll be recreating this web page here. So it's a simple web profile that I've just made. And obviously this is Scarlett Johansson. We've got some text here, and then we've got her featured, some of the films that she's featured in, and we've got them listed here in bullet points. So this is a new HTML and empty HTML file. Now, if you're using Visual Studio Code, I'll show you a really cool, handy trick when creating a new HTML file. So if you enter exclamation mark and then press tab, it creates this skeletonized HTML for you. Now, as you can see here, there's a few extra things that we haven't seen before. There are these meta tags. So remember, metadata that lives within the head tag is data about the HTML document, and it is not seen on the actual web page. Now, another thing, see these purple words here? So these are the attributes. Now, attributes, they are, you add them to an HTML element in the starting tag. And what they do is they provide additional data to that HTML element. Now, attributes are, and more often than not, in key value pairing. So what do I mean by that? As you can see here, there's this char set here, and it's got an equals, and then in quotations, UTF-8. In this instance, char set is the keyword, and the value is UTF-8, right? And up here, you can see here in HTML, we've got lang, which is short for language. Lang is the keyword, and the value of lang is EN, which is English. And one more example up here in doctype HTML that we saw before. HTML is an example that of a keyword that doesn't have a value. All right, so for now, that's the key takeaway. Just ignore all this all this stuff for now. And title we've gone through before. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a Chris Evans profile. All right, so let's add this to the title, Chris Evans. Now in the body, which we see in the web page, we're going to add an H1, called an H1 tag, which is a headings tag. And in here, we're going to put Chris Evans. You can think of this as a title. And then we're going to add a P tag, or P element, which stands for paragraph. And in here, we're going to add, I'm just going to copy and paste all this text that I've prepared earlier. And we're just going to add that inside the P tag or P element as the content. Above the H1, we're going to add what's called an image tag or image element. Now, an image HTML element is another example of an empty element, so it doesn't have a content, and so therefore it doesn't have a closing tag. Now you see that it's got what's called a source attribute, and in here we're going to add a URL. So let's go search Chris Evans. Let's pull up an image of Chris. Well, let's open this up. Open image. Now we simply copy the URL on the top. Now the source attribute takes in a URL, or if you've got it saved on your local drive, you can point it to that location. Now alt here stands for like an alternative description of the image. Sometimes when the web browser fails to load the image, or the user has some sort of something that prevents the image from loading, this text replaces it instead. So let's put Chris Evans, save that. Now we're going to add another header called an H2. So you can think of this as a less important heading to the H1. And in here, we're going to add featured films. And after that, we're going to use what's called an unordered list HTML element. You can think of this as